Well, welcome back to Crown's Crypto Cave. It's a beautiful hump day over here from Helsinki, Finland. As always, want to be wishing you well, want to be wishing you the best, the happiest of the happiest. Cryptocurrency Wednesdays. Is it a Wednesday? Yes, it's Wine Wednesday, or is it Wasted Wednesday? Whatever the fuck they call it nowadays. Let's get into the live stream right here, right now. We can't be wasting time talking about unimportant subjects. We need to be talking about very important magic and money business, getting deep and down and dirty into it right here. And of course, from the intermediate time frame, Bitcoin still being beholden below, just like caressed below this blue 377 exponential moving average right over here, and very important for the overall trend identification from a daily doodle time frame perspective. And as long as Bitcoin being beheld in below this area, I would be cautious looking at this as potentially a trade setup right now. Actually, best seen on this 3-hour dildo time frame right over here, which we discussed last night during the live stream. But overall, we got something like this going on. We got a nice, do you want to call it an ascending triangle? You can certainly call it an ascending triangle, but we got a nice rise support trend line and then a flat resistance trend line. Of course, for myself, I never care about what you call a formation. I only care about support and resistance, and so far support is supporting, resistance is resisting. Technically speaking, this would be a more bullishly resolved formation, and there is a measure move to be made off of it as well. It's probably going to be pointed up to that next 50-ish level to 5600. Let's see if that works. Yes, I believe it does. There we go. About actually a little bit overshooting it to 5650-ish area. So overall, if Bitcoin were to break it onwards and outwards to the upside above 5,300, that is exactly where I'd be looking towards as governed by this pattern. And there would also be a breakage on the daily 377 exponential. Not only that, but if we go to a higher time frame and we take off all the drawing tools, put on the volume profile, you'll notice that we do have a nice thick AF node coming in right around that range as well, right around that 5,600-ish area. So Bitcoin being beheld in by this area right over here, you can kind of just follow it through the volume profile as well, just seeing that there is very little business being done all the way from here to that 5,600-ish level, we could call it. And also just kind of a prior block territory. In fact, if I wanted to mark this off, could very easily do that. And going to be right over here and right over here. There we go. Getting the top of it just beautifully. And if Bitcoin does break up, that's where I'd be looking towards. However, just like I said, just because it is an ascending triangle does not mean that it's always going to break out to the upside. I mean, it's certainly more likely to, statistically speaking. However, in my experience, I've seen every pattern break out every fucking possible way, except for to the left, and for me, I only care about supporting resistance. So until this guy actually officially breaks and closes about a 2-hour dildo above this 5,300-ish level, I would not be, positioning myself for a trade. However, I would be happy to add onto my own long, which I am still holding long from 3930-ish area right over here. If we do break that area of 5,300, I will add not a full position, but I'll add something worthwhile. But for now, still being resisted by this 5,300-ish level, so I would not be front running myself. More importantly, when we bring up our oscillators, we do see our lower time frame Stokes actually pointed up right now. So 3-hour Stokes are up and do want up. If we go over here to the 4-hour, I believe 4-hour are looking a little bit weak to the downside. Could very easily cross up. They will cross up if we do break 5,300. No doubt about that. But still technically down. Obviously, all lower time frames than that are going to be up. We got 2-hour right over here, up. We got hourly right over here, actually getting tired and up. But overall, I just want to show that there is a lot of dissenting opinions between all of the different time frames right now. And when this happens, I typically go and be more conservative. Which, yes, this isn't ascending triangle, but actually would be looking at this to probably break down. Funnily enough, we go over here to the 10-hour. 10-hour Stokes going to be having a fresh cross down, so the medium to higher time frames will be down. 12 hours going to be technically down, but very weak as well. Daily is actually up, and we got 2-day and 3-day looking tired. We got 2-day Stokes right over here looking a little bit tired. 3-day Stokes right over here getting way up there, actually gaining momentum, so I do take that back. But we actually have dissenting opinions just based upon just about every time frame actually, which makes it very difficult. And like I said, whenever I get into a situation like this, I'd rather be safe than sorry, just like using good old protection. And when it comes down to it, I would be saying that, hey, keep in mind where we kind of are in the greater picture, and that is a picture of incredible resistance hanging right over our faces right now, right at this 5,300 level. That is where the blue 377 exponential is on the daily. But not only that, we got the 2-day 200 exponential right in this area as well. Although the 2-day did have a very strong close yesterday, to be fair. The 2-day is bullish. The 2-day actually does want up on this on this formation. 3-day being beheld in by the 200 exponential as well. We just set another one in stone yesterday night, I believe. And as we saw, 3-day Stokes are still up. 3-day RSI rising into the more critical zone for the bullish territory actually as well. And if we go over here to the weekly, we got the 89, the blue 89, the green 55. staring us right in the face. We go over here to the monthly, and of course we got the yellow 21 exponential in the red 10 moving average. So all these things kind of converging on each other makes me very apprehensive and makes me actually want to take the other side of that. Not only that, but we do have bearish divergence on a 12-hour dollar time frame right over here. We do have bearish divergence, I believe, even up to a daily. Except have we confirmed bearish divergence? No, we have not. Sorry, I apologize about that. It is not bearish divergence until we actually confirm this is a local high, which has not been confirmed just yet. We need to actually tick below 51.25. It looks like, yeah, 51 and a quarter. If Bitcoin can do that, that will be confirmed. We'll be looking for the next move down to the 50-50ish territory, and then 49 after that. But for right now, it's a time to be agnostic. And while I am presenting my opinion, I don't trade my opinion. Like I said, if Bitcoin breaks 5,300 to the upside, I do take that long. I'm happy to take that long. But for right now, it is being resisted. I know a lot of people are calling it a descending triangle right here, and technically that's right. It has the right shape, has the right volume signature, has all the right characteristics, nice continuation pattern as well. But like I said, I don't trade against those exponentials until told otherwise. And nicely enough, or conveniently enough, perhaps is the right word. The 3-hour dollar time frame is actually agreeing with that perfectly on this resistance right around 5,300. So if that area does get taken out, hey, I jump onto the bull side and look for that next what is about $300-$400 move. Not bad, certainly tradable. And I would be interested in trading that breakout. But if it does break to the downside, technically the measure move can be made the same way, and that actually be pointing down towards 4,800. Which is where I would be looking for on a legitimate pullback. Keep in mind, there will be bounces along the way, and Bitcoin's really been spending a lot of time going sideways, essentially, into this area for the last, has it been a week now? Yeah, it's been over a week. Holy shit, man. Holy shit. It feels like it was just the other day, but no, it's actually been a little bit more than a week ago now. This was on April 2nd and April 1st, so most of that rally being done right around then. Consolidation ever since afterwards. And that's also what, another big point that I want to bring up is that more often than not, price action is not breaking out or breaking down. That's why I'm a supported resistance trader. And realistically, I mean, that's you don't have to trade one single breakout in your life to make a living out of this. Although if we do break this next level, I would be interested in trading that one. $300 to $400 is certainly not bad. It's almost 10% move on Bitcoin nowadays. $400. I mean, I suppose a $500 move is 10% move. So yeah, it's quite exaggerated, and the gains can certainly be made on something like that. But for right now, we are tightening this area up quite a bit, and I would be, and more importantly, whichever way that we do break this, I do believe that it happens today. The apex on this triangle is technically coming in tomorrow, but you can see that we are extremely mature in this formation, and it can break at any given moment in time. Of course, we can chart this out a little bit further if you really want to get super granular with it on the lower time frames. We do have a horizontal support right over here, right around this 51.50-ish level, which Bitcoin's tested multiple times in the past couple of days. All these wicks right around here bought up pretty damn well. So if that area does break, that'd be the more clear and concise way of getting this. However, I would make a decision even if we did break the 3-hour 21 exponential right over here. Now you can see that there's a little bit of test yesterday, very low volume, and more importantly, a big wick to the downside tells me that that one was going to be bought back up. So if we do come back down, it will likely be weaker. But here's the thing: we actually also do have some hidden bullish divergence going on right here as well. However, has that already played out? I mean, we put it in right here. We've taken a stab towards the top of this formation. I'd say that that's probably played out. And overall, I kind of, I really want to exercise neutrality in my opinion right now. Whether I think it's going to break up or down, the play is the same. 5,200 to the downside, 5,300 to the upside. It's that easy. It doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. While I do think that if it does break out to the upside, it'll likely be more of a straight shot. If it does break out to the downside, I would be looking for bounces first, 51.50. Then I'd look at 50.50. It's going to be it's so fucking tight in here because Bitcoin's put in so much sideways, which is actually a good thing. It's quite constructive. 50.50 is going to be right over here. In fact, I would get rid of this one right here. It's not. I wouldn't trade that. That's going to be too fast. 50.50 is probably tradable just because it also does match up with a nice gap in CMEs right over here, which is still yet to be filled down around that 50-50ish range. So I would be looking for an initial bounce right over there. And as you can see, CMEs actually look a little bit different right now. In fact, you could make this sort of formation right here, which would incorporate another test down to the 50-50ish area, fulfill this trend line, and still fulfill a gap fill, and then bounce up. So we could be stuck in this a little bit longer as well if we do kind of break the more aggressive formation that we got going on right now, because CMEs don't necessarily look like spot charts. So So 50-50 would be an area of interest. However, I do believe that if we were to break below 5,200, regardless of whether we have a bounce at the 50-50 level or not, I would be looking lower. I would be looking towards that next 4,900 to 4,850-ish area, which is where I would be looking for the ultimate pullback on Bitcoin. Now, right now, on the medium to low timeframes, to be very deliberate and separate them from the higher timeframes, I'm looking to buy a pullback, which does that mean that I'm bearish or bullish? I mean, I guess it means that I'm looking for a pullback, so that would mean that I'm bearish in like the super short-term timeframes, and then for a little bit longer than that, I actually do think that this run tries again higher, most likely. But overall, as far as the macro timeframes, do I think that Bitcoin's about to bust on through to a bull market from here? Probably not. Probably not. I mean, I'm open to it, but I need to see actually clear and obvious evidence, and a couple of those pieces are actually staring us right in the face. We already talked about them actually. First and foremost would be Bitcoin closing a monthly dildo above this yellow 20-minute exponential moving average right over here. That would open up the gates for continuation higher, probably into the 6,000s, or at least test 6,000. Oh my god, man, I'm having allergies right now, so I might sneeze. Sorry about that. I have such good manners. Apologies about that. It's fucking nasty. Let me just make sure that this is all good. Let's see. Okay, cool. Let me just make sure that I'm actually okay. Got that all on camera. Great, fucking great, man. Anyways, yeah. If we were to close above the yellow 20-minute exponential, that would be my personal signal for looking for a much greater extension of this run. Into the 6,000s, maybe even 7,000 at that point. And generally, I would be more on the bullish side for a more macro time frame perspective. However, there will be dissenting opinions with that because technically speaking, we actually don't make a higher high until we get back above, realistically speaking, the 77, 7,800 hump right over here. When Bitcoin does that, then we'll have a higher high. We don't necessarily have a higher low just yet on the monthly. In fact, we'll have to, at some point, we will make everyone kind of hold their breath for a second and put in a higher low, likely somewhere right around here. If this were to be a turnaround, this would be kind of documenting this. But for right now, we are being beholden below this area, or actually technically we're above it right now by about $10 on Bitstamp. But my point is that this operates on a monthly total time frame, so keep in mind that we are in the 10th day of April. There's a lot of damage that can be done between now and the end of the month. Much more than $10 worth of damage. So keep that in mind. If we do end below the 20-minute exponential, does that mean that it's over for the bulls? No, it doesn't. But it would be. Would it be expected? I don't know if expectations are the right word to have. Those are typically not what you want to be having in trading. But what I would say is that when I do look at this, more often than not, you are going to sell off on your first pass. And this is the first pass right here. We've been living away from this yellow 20-minute exponential on the monthly since November of 2018. More importantly, this is very important for a long-term trend, in my opinion. This is what I use in traditional markets to judge if a stock, if an equity was essentially bullish, essentially bearish on a longer-term time frame. If we're above the 21 exponential, this yellow moving average right here, generally bullish. If you're below it, generally bearish. You can kind of backtest it for Bitcoin, going all the way back to 2014, 2015, when Bitcoin lost 21 exponential. That was when it was shuffled on down to its ultimate red dildo capitulation death hole, death and decay, just drop down, baby. And once we actually regained the 21 exponential moving average right over here, well, that was full speed ahead for a perfectly timed bullish momentum trade all the way from $300 to almost $20,000 price per Bitcoin. That's the importance of it to me. But like I said, there will be other veins of thoughts from other people who will say, you got to get higher. I completely understand that, but I would be comfortable with making the call beforehand. And like I always say, man, I want to be bullish. I want to be bullish more than anyone else because first, moon boobs, and second, this is what I do for a living. I mean, my life, my living becomes 100 billion times easier when it's a bull market. You don't need to be a professional trader to make money in a bull market. I know that people want to sound sexy and cool and make it sound like it's really difficult. But I'm sure if you were around in 2017, all you had to do was quite literally just hodl. That is where that meme actually does work. To be fair, hodling is a decent strategy in a bull market. In a downwards market, though, fuck no. Which is what we've been in for the past year, and still technically, as far as the higher timeframes go, still in a downwards market. So yeah, that is why I'm cautious as the higher timeframes go. Lower timeframes, like I said, though, I would be looking. I would really like to see a pullback off this area and buy that pullback. So my strategy, the basis of my strategy is the same. Whether we break above or below this current area that we're looking at, I'm either a buyer of a breakout or I am a buyer somewhere in this 48 to 4,900-ish level right over here. This is also going to be supported by buy the 12-hour 21 exponential, which you can see is slowly crawling its way up at 4,900 right now. And because we are printing a little bit of bearish divergence on this baby, typically I do want to see a test back down to that yellow 21 exponential. However, we do have a competing narrative on this. This is overall, the 12-hour is overall bullish. It's been bullish for a while. We have the golden cross right over here. I do not trade against that. So it's not that I'm bearish, just that I'd be happy to buy a pullback and get on the side of the trend. And that's really the art of trading, is just making it easier for yourself, recognizing the trend and just jumping on that, just jumping onto the little tail fin of a whale and grabbing on. That's essentially what we're trying to do, is charting out what the big market movers are doing and figure out how we can basically jump on with them. I mean, I always like to say this: if you're not playing with at least hundreds of millions of dollars in your account, you're probably not a market mover. So it's a better strategy to figure out what they're doing and go with them, as they can actually quite literally move the market. Yes, that's right. People with extremely big pockets, they can actually move the market with a market order. Now it all starts to make sense. Maybe watching the order book's not going to make so much sense anymore now, will it? Anyways, while we're on here on the 12-hour dodo time frame, the last time that we got a 12-hour dodo golden cross, and I'm referring to the green 50 exponential and the purple 200 exponential, was quite literally all the way in 2016. That was the last time that we actually saw one, and so this is why it's very powerful and very, very important to me. I believe it was right over here. Yeah, September 2016, leading all the way from about $593 to almost $20,000 price per Bitcoin. Again, a very, 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 very powerful move. And overall, when I do see something like this, I mean, does it offer up the potential that we have continuation before a pullback? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't want to make it sound like it's one-sided. I'm just saying that if we get a pullback, that's where I become a lot more interested to buy. Do I think that it's more likely that we get a pullback sooner rather than later? Yeah, I probably do. But the trading doesn't change either way. And that's really what I want to get out. Separating the opinion from technical analysis. Don't need to trade. I never trade my opinion. Of course, it's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but I hope that I'm very clear with this. I mean, I've been long this whole way through, even though I would kind of be looking for a pullback. Around that 4,900 level. It's also going to be supported by the weekly Trollinger bands as well. We closed our first weekly Trollinger band above the top Trollinger band, which is something that we just haven't done since 2017, right over here, when Bitcoin was trending pretty damn hard to the upside. And usually when that happens, you're going to come back and retest the upper Trollinger band and then rally off that. It's very, very high probability to bounce. And where is that coming in? Around 4,900. So both these things kind of lining up with each other, which does make me a little bit more, a little bit more leaning towards a pullback rather than continuation first and foremost. But like I said, either which way, the idea is the same. The idea is the same, and that's the big point that I'm trying to make. More importantly, or just as of equal importance, we don't want to be judges over here. No, they are both very important. But we have both open and closed our first weekly dodo above the median Trollinger band, which is just a 20-cent moving average right over here in late March, which was also kind of the impetus for me holding on to this long for a little bit of time, as just we haven't done that since late 2017, early 2018, right over here. And usually that's going to lead on to a trending move to the upside, and that's exactly what we're kind of getting right now. So keep that in mind. Overall, this operates on a weekly little time frame, so this this pullback could happen anytime between now and Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. I really would like to see a pullback into this area, as it would flesh out the structure for this movement a lot more, and I would say that it actually add validity to it. If Bitcoin takes off from this area, I'd say that actually kind of diminishes my thoughts on this rally. But so far, the rally has been good and could very easily get continuation to that 5,700 level. Which could then in turn, as the month progresses, have carry on over into the monthly, which we just spoke about, which would kind of open up the floodgates for letting this baby run, higher. I mean, I'd say definitely into the 6,000 at that point, and probably even 7,000s. Probably does give it a test somewhere in this range right over here if that were to happen on the monthly, if we take out the monthly resistance. But for right now, it's still way too early to be really considering such things. And realistically, I'm just playing the lower time frames right now to kind of protect myself either which way, because I don't want to commit to a bullish or bearish position. On the weekly right over here, yes, we are getting resisted by this green 50 exponential and this cyan 89 exponential, which have crossed the downside. We have a lower period crossing the downside of a higher period, which would say that the overall trend is getting shuffled and strengthened to the downside. They are not gaining divergence away from each other, however, and same kind of idea right over here. I would be looking for a rejection on first pass. However, we do see that Bitcoin has done something, I would say, more important to me. This is more important. Bitcoin has closed a weekly dodo above this weekly above the 200 exponential moving average right over here. That's the purple moving average right here, and on very good volume as well. Not very good volume, but relatively good volume. If we would put this into dollar valuation, it would be absolutely nothing. But more importantly, when I do look at something like this, I think to myself that this is what held us down below in this more aggressive portion of the downtrend below 4,000-ish area for about 5 months. And Bitcoin breaking above that area, it adds onto the case that, hey, I want to be looking for a pullback and be a buyer of that pullback. I'm not trying to time the top right here. I need to see something else, which we'll look at in just a second. But on top of that, we also closed our first weekly little above this yellow 21 exponential the first time in about more than almost a year as well. And we'll have a chance to both open and close above both those moving averages by the end of this week, which is just going to add more validity onto this. And to me, that would open up the floodgates for a move likely higher. Now, here's the thing. Speaking about all of this, it's sounding all well and good, but now I want to present the higher time frame perspective, which I haven't really fleshed out all that much just yet. And more importantly, it is still unchanged. So we look at the weekly, we do see weekly RSI getting to levels that we haven't seen since all of the 2016 area right over here. The whole run between 2016 to 2018 on that massive bull attempt. We're actually living above that right now. We're gonna have we confirmed above this? I think that we have confirmed above it. Yeah, we have, because this is the only part moving right now. Okay, fair enough. I take that back. That area actually has been taken out. But also of great importance, we do have the weekly the weekly Stokes right over here getting very high as well. Of course, we already went over all of the resistances looming overhead. We got the daily 377, 2-day 200, 3-day 200, weekly 50 and 89, monthly 21, all very important for overall trend. And more importantly, when we do look at some fundamental indicators like the MVT signal, the good old MVT signal, once again rearing its head, this is the network value divided by the daily transaction value, which is essentially a fundamental indicator, and that is signaling red. And this thing has been goddamn perfect in calling all of the major tops and bottoms in Bitcoin's history. The key to this is that it can stay red for a while before the move actually does populate itself out. So I would be overall cautious, is my point. I'm not, while I am holding long right now, I'm very, 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 very happy to let it go. If we do start breaking back below 4,800, 4,900-ish area, that would be kind of my trigger for that, to let go of a more intermediate position. Based off of the higher timeframes. But remember, just because it's red does not mean that it dumps immediately. It can stay in this area for months at a time, as we've seen in the past. More importantly, I have found in the past that the MVT signal in confluence with the Stokes, with the daily Stokes, actually has called some pretty damn good, has actually helped time the tops in correlation to the MVT signal. So let's just kind of run this back and look at this right now. But basically, we did put in a high right here on the 8,000 level right over here. If I bring up the Stokes and highlight the exact same area, this is this area right over here. The daily Stokes were turning down when the actual move did happen. But look, we were signaling red for a few weeks or about a week beforehand. The time before that was right over here. You can see that Bitcoin was red for about a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks right over here. And then once the daily Stokes turn right over here, that was when the initial the main downfall happened. We can go back further, obviously on the high of end of 2017 at 20,000. You can see that Bitcoin was red all the way through, but it wasn't until this area right here when the daily Stokes turned back down around and a top was well timed. So right now we are getting pretty damn high on not just the MVT signal, but also on the daily Stokes, which are way up here. But more importantly, they have not crossed to the downside. They are still technically up. So I want to see these guys cross down, and that could perhaps help top when the next MVT signal is going to, perhaps tell time when the next MVT signal is likely to play out. So keep that in mind, because it has been decent in the past. Also, we will be having potentially, I shouldn't say this, but we technically do not have bearish divergence on the daily right now. However, if we do tick any lower than 51.25, we will have daily RSI divergence confirmed, which is also what I want to see on the next high. So the question now is it's a game of time. How much damage can be done by the bulls before these things start to tick on over? The longer that Bitcoin stays here without breaking out, the more and more likely it becomes that it actually does turn down. However, I would imagine that if we are going to break this out, it probably does happen today or tomorrow. And if that does happen, the damage is very likely to bring this all the way up to 5650, maybe even 5700 in this next blocky territory. So keep that in mind. There's a very nice trade to be made here both ways. Whether it's to 5600 or whether it's to 4900, it's the actions are the same. So again, agnosticism as a trader is absolute key right now. To not really commit to a position either which way until we actually get confirmation on this one. This is the time, in my opinion, to not be playing support and resistance. This is the time to be playing a breakout. If you are going to be trading this, and I strongly believe that. So here's the thing: is my main point. Don't get caught in. If you are going to get caught in a position right here, be quick to manage risk. Be quick to manage risk, and know where you're going to manage risk. If we break out above here, I strongly suggest closing that fucking position and flipping long. By the same token, if we break down below here, strongly suggest closing that position and flipping short. Of course, though, this is not financial advice. Not a financial advisor. Just sharing with you what I do in these sorts of same situations. But like I said, on this long ride over here, I'm just going to keep this open. And really, my strategy for this is that if we break down, I'm just going to sell some more calls against it and collect on that. If we break up, I actually buy back the calls, or maybe even buy back some more spot on top of this, and that's completely fine by me. The idea is the same in multiple ways to manage something like that, especially with options, which I'm just so much more comfortable with. Anyways, okay, let me make sure that all my screens are safe and safe over there. There we go. No forex. I missed my only forex trade of this morning by fucking it was like 2.002. Jesus Christ, man. That's very frustrating sometimes. Very frustrating. But you know what? I'm not going to chase it. Anyways, okay, so we spoke enough about Bitcoin. Let's go check out do we want to check out CMEs? Yeah, let's go check out CMEs. Daily CMEs are actually still below the 200 exponential, funnily enough. So that is our primary resistance right over there. But you can see that right now, funnily enough, the highest volume that you see, everyone's talking about the highest volume day on CME history. It's right here. Sorry, it's right. Let me highlight it. It's right here. You can see that massive girthy gray dildo sticking up to the sky. It was actually all selling. It was actually all selling. Funnily enough, that was a nice pullback day. So that's what everyone's kind of going crazy about right now. It's very strange. I mean, you can just look at the charts and very quickly realize that the headlines are misleading. They do that? Crazy. We got daily Stokes still up, getting very aggressive right now. And we do have a little bit of, do we have any bearish divergence going on right now? Nope, we do not have a confirmed local high just yet. But ultimately, we're seeing the same thing. We see major resistance in this area, the same area that we see on spot. Going over to GBTC, GBTC is doing something different. GBTC hanging it up really high near the October-November range, which is very bizarre, because that would equate to Bitcoin being around that 6,000 level. So we should get confirmation very soon if GBTC is either a leader or if it's just doing its own fucking thing. If you see Bitcoin take another step up towards that 6,000-ish level, then GBTC will still be the leader, and I was wrong about denouncing it as still leading the market. If you see Bitcoin not follow, if you see Bitcoin break down here, then I'd say that GBTC is just doing its own thing, and it's just no longer really that relevant or tradable in the same way. 96 of this water, man. I'm damn thirsty. Alrighty. So yeah, that's what I'd be watchful of today, because GBTC would be suggesting that we actually approach that October-November lows. Let's look at the weekly for a second. Yeah, weekly's right at resistance as well, getting rejected by the 50 exponential, as you'd imagine. Let's go check out this. I forgot to bring this up. Bitcoin longs and shorts, 26,000 open longs versus 18,500 open shorts. The thing is with this is that, there is a great imbalance between the two. I do know that someone, like a singular person closed about a 5,000 or 6,000 coin short on Finex the other day. Ultimately, though, my main point with this is that if I had to put an interpretation on this, it would lean to the bearish side, in confluence with the MBT signal, in confluence with all the major exponentials that are looming overhead. Sorry about that. All the ground beef coming up right now. With also confluence on what else did we look at? All of our oscillators looking a little bit tired, and if we bring up the titty sequential, we can actually show some nines on there as well, which have not been playing out. But more importantly, just another kind of thing that would be on the bearish side, as we do have a great imbalance between the two, which does offer up potential for a massive attack. The thing is that we did just have 6,000 more shorts available a few days ago, which were settled off exchange most likely. So we don't really know the prices of that, and we can't really look into it too much. I know a lot of people are trying to dissect this, but I think it's just kind of, of the things to put importance on and to focus on, I want to put importance on things that are more tangible that we can actually figure out. We're not going to have any sort of leeway into that sort of information unless if you know that person, or if you are that person, and know the details of that deal, and how it was settled, and if they settled it, if they found some sort of a buyer OTC and did it that way, and that's how it's kind of taken care of. We just don't know, and that's the big thing. So, if I had to say anything about that, I guess it'd be a little bit more to the downside. But remember, that's more of a higher time frame type look. When we go back to Bitcoin, it's extremely important to separate the medium to low time frames from the high and the macro time frames, which I hope that I've been making extremely clear. So, anyways, spoke about all of that. Let's go check out the other top shitcoins. We got Mrs. Litecoin right over here, charging it back up, rounding off the exact area that we spoke about yesterday, and probably going to grind this area out, I'd imagine. Daily looks like it could. Daily kind of did already get into the area that we were looking for. What was it? The 12 hour? Yeah, 12 hour 10 simple kind of rejecting price action right now. 12 hour support right around $82.50. It looks like. Overall, some bearish divergence being played out. I would, this one is looking like it's kind of putting in a little bit of a top right now. We do have daily Stokes actually still upwards and onwards, so I would still be looking for this to actually get extended a little bit more, perhaps, maybe around this $92.50 region right over here. But I do think that we are in the midst of putting in a little bit of a short-term top. Now, does that mean that I'm bearish on Mrs. Litecoin? No. In fact, Mrs. Litecoin's the one that I'd probably be most bullish on, because this is what I want to see on a bottom. If Bitcoin looks like this, I'd be calling a bottom on Bitcoin, but I'm not. I'm calling a bottom on Mrs. Litecoin. At $22. I've been bullish on Mrs. Litecoin, especially ever since this area right over here, but more preliminarily, as soon as it got above $50 right over here. This is very important to me. This is why I have that rule where when you have a golden cross on the daily, I'm not bearish on anything that looks like that. And while everyone was kind of trying to call, major bearish divergence on a daily, Stokes down, all the different tentacles telling you that this thing's going down, the exponentials don't lie. They don't lie, baby. And so we got that next move up, actually even hitting our $100 target. So I would be looking for this one to put in some more time, grinding this top out, maybe pop back, around to that $92.50, $93 area right over here. But ultimately, I do think that this one probably is putting in a little bit more of a short-term top. However, when I go down to a 4-hour dildo time frame, you can see that while this formation was broken to the downside, we do have something new forming right now. Do we have an ascending triangle? We kind of do have an ascending triangle. Would it look right? Volume's okay. Shape is okay. It's kind of sloppy. Could work though. It could work. My point is that either which way, I would be looking for it to put in some time in this formation right here. And this one does look more toppy than something like Bitcoin to me. I believe that we did get a daily doodle sell on the Jewel just a few days ago. Yeah, right over here, nice sell signal. So I'd still be kind of rolling with that. While I do think that it pops up and kind of grinds this area out, as we've been saying for the past couple days, ultimately I would like to see a retracement down to the 21 exponential, which is actually currently around mid 70s, about 76 right now. On Finex, on a GDAX, it's probably all the way down at like 75. Yeah, about 75. So overall, I'm not bearish on something like that, but it's kind of the same as Bitcoin. I'd be looking to buy a pullback. Weekly looks very good. Weekly looks completely fine. Again, this is exactly what I want to see on a major market cycle low. Increasing volume to the upside and a V bottom out of there. Beautiful, just fucking beautiful. If everything looked like Mrs. Litecoin, this market would be so much easier right now. But it's not. Anyways, going over to Mr. Butyrol. Mr. Butyrol also grinding this 200 exponential moving average right over here, but actually looking a little bit strong in this area. Mr. Butyrol, to me, kind of looks like he wants to break it. We got 4-hour Stokes about to cross the upside. We got a nice walk-up behavior going on right over here, which you can see we broke out of this initial formation to the upside, and we've just been using that same support to rally off of. I think that is constructive. That is quite powerful. However, the resistance is all the same, 183. If 183 breaks, then I start looking towards the next target, which Technically the next target would be 190, but if this thing breaks up, it's going to go higher. It's going to go to like 210 or 220. It's what's going to happen. I mean, that I typically back off from making statements like that, but if that area does get taken out, it's likely to go to 210 or 220. We see daily Stokes up and gaining momentum. We see daily RSI fine. What about the weekly? Yeah, the weekly is what makes me a little bit apprehensive because I would like to see a pullback on this one as well. Anywhere around the weekly 21 exponential at around 163, 162 would probably be the buy zone for me. But right now, Mr. Buterol actually hinting at some upwards momentum right now. So again, going to depend on what the rest of the market does, but this one actually looks like it wants to break to the upside like sooner rather than later, like today. I would be saying that Mr. Buterol is looking more bullish, Mrs. Litecoin looking a little bit bearish, Mr. Bitcoin kind of right in the fucking middle, man. Kind of right in the middle. But like I said, the apex on all these formations is coming in later today, or sorry, tomorrow, which means that we probably get a decision today. Oh man. Did I just miss another trade right over there? I think I could actually get in this. Nah, I'll wait it out. All right. Anyways, let's see. Ooh, that was fast. Okay, so yeah, I'd say Mr. Buterol probably looking a little bit more bullish. And if we do break that next, it was 183. Yeah, 183. Technically, 191 or 192 is my next target, but realistically looking plus 200, like 210, 220 maybe, over the next week or two or whatever it might be. Okay, cool. We spoke all about that. Let's go check out traditional marks really quick. We got traditional marks right over here. Looking to me like we are going to be putting in that top yesterday was kind of confirmed, and I would still be looking for that move back down to about 283, fill this gap down around here. Also fill another test of this rising trend line. We are kind of forming out a rising wedge. Which typically does break out to the downside more often than not. We do see 4-hour Stokes pointed downwards. We do see 4-hour RSI given some bearish divergence. So I do believe that this wants to play out, relatively soon. I would be looking for an initial bounce right around here, around 285 and 3/4, and then overall I'd be looking for a retracement a little bit lower at about 283.5, 283 to 282.5 area down over here. So again, the overall picture is certainly still, I'd say, still bullish, but we are putting in a little bit of a local top right now. And I'll be rolling with that as long as we're respecting this area right here. As long as we're respecting 288.5, I'd be holding on to that. And I do believe that we actually have seen, initial confirmation of this. Let's go see what else do we got to talk about. Let's talk about Cardano. Good old Cardano right over here. Yep, came down to our target about 1,600 satoshis, and I'd be looking for a bounce. Probably bounces back up, tries to test, a little bit above 1,700, and I do believe that will probably be sold into. I do want to see this one come down. Well, hold on. Maybe I'm being a little bit too aggressive with something like this. We do have a golden cross. We are technically above the 21 right now. I do think that this bounce gets extended a little bit more, but I think that it's going to spend some time consolidating between about 1,750 and 1,600, and then we'll kind of figure it out from there. Weekly does to me look like it wants to retrace a little bit lower. Weekly support is actually all the way down at 1,400, which I would say would be that would be a warning signal if it gets down around there. You really do not want to give up 1,400 anymore. If 1,400 does get lost, this would turn in from a potential bottoming formation to an actual new low, most likely. If that were to happen, that'd be really fucking nasty. Is it possible? Absolutely, but 1,400 is the area to kind of manage that upon. Yeah, weekly does look like it wants to kind of come down a little bit more. So very short term time frames looking for a bounce. Higher time frames probably does have a retracement a little bit deeper. Yeah, I'd probably look for the bounce around 1,700 to 1,750 most likely. Okay, cool. BNB cone, BNB bouncing as well off the area that we spoke about yesterday, off the 21 exponential. Beautifully done. And this is, and I really like this one because we were able to follow this one for the past week and a half. We noticed the jewel setting up for a sell signal on the daily, right? And we documented each and every day. It was like, okay, it's getting closer, and then right around here it actually gave the signal, which was at a price point at around $19.50. Well, since then we got our full retrace down to the 17.25-ish area. Do we come down lower now is a question. I mean, that was already a pretty damn good move. And the thing is with the jewel, I actually do look for bounces off this territory right here. So while I do think that we probably do try to fill in this area between low $18 to high $18, I do think that this one probably does want to come down a little bit more. Looking at the weekly is getting very tired. We see weekly Stokes getting hinting at a cross to the downside. Weekly supports all the way down around $14.50 or so. So it does have quite a bit of time to go, but that's also on a weekly. So that would, we're talking about weeks and weeks of price action out. Next target would probably be about $16 if it breaks down from 17 and a quarter. If you see 17 and a quarter break, I'm looking towards 16, to be clear. Okay, Zcash. Zcash looks like it wants to pop back up and test around $77, but I do believe that this one's putting a little bit of a top as well. Putting in some bearish divergence along the way on the daily. Daily Stokes are still up, so yes, I do think that we have enough juice to test this about 77 and a half actually. But ultimately I do, well, should I be more lenient on something like this? Yeah. This one does want to test higher, and actually, when I look at the weekly, this one wants to break higher. Sorry, I'd be more bullish on this one. Probably does reach for 86 and a half bucks. Bcash. What do we have on over here? Maintaining above the 200 exponential. Daily Stokes just crossed back upwards and onwards. Not bad. Not bad. Does have some bearish divergence confirmed, though, so that's not good. What about the weekly? Yeah, weekly can retrace all the way down here to 243. I'd be looking for a retracement on this one overall. Tron Cash hit our target of 3.22 cents, and what do we do now? It does look like it wants to give another test up to this area, 3.2-ish area, and then we'll kind of judge it from there. But I do believe that call me crazy, man, but I think that Tron might have bottomed, actually. Tron's kind of putting in a little bit of a, it's putting in a formation down here. People are going to call this an inverted head and shoulders. It actually kind of is. We do have a nice neckline right over here. Yeah, something like that. We're actually right at it. So realistically speaking, if this one can actually break above this 3.22 cents region, we can talk about higher target, but ultimately I'd just be looking for a nice move up. Or, I'd be bullish, probably around 4 cents, over 4 cents. Neocash, what's Neocash doing? Probably looking for a bounce a little bit higher. I'd like to see it retest 13 and 3/4. But I do believe that this one's putting a little bit of a top as well. Weekly support, did we already test this? Ooh, kind of. You know what? Maybe that was the buy right there. I think we might have already gotten it. That was it right there. Yeah, I would actually manage trades on that. Very easy to manage off of $12 risk management tool, and let the chips fall where they may. EOS Cash looks like it wants to take another leg right now. Powerful EOS, powerful. Next target 674. Can put this area in right now. Right over here. Yeah, about 677, whatever it is, right over here. What else we got? XRP Cash, 35.5 cents. Again, I'd be more bullish on this one. I think that we already got the retracement to buy on this one yesterday to 34.5 cents. Yeah, right over here. As spoken about yesterday, I would be looking for this one to retest 36.5 cents, and ultimately, I would like to see this one test a little over 40 cents right over here. I do think that that's quite a strong move. Holy fucking moly, man! Nice buyback on pound versus yen. Jesus. Whoops, we already talked about Neo. We just talked about. Let's go over to Monero. Yeah, there we go. Monero's looking a little bit more toppy to me actually. Let's go over to a weekly. Okay, weekly has a lot of supports right here. Yeah, ultimately this one does want to test higher. That's the thing as far as the weekly is governed. What about a daily though? Daily's kind of putting in an ascending triangle right here actually. Daily Stokes up. Yeah, I just need to see it break about 71.5 bucks, and I'll be looking for that next target somewhere right around here. 83, 84. Yeah, not bad. Stellar Cash, what's Stellar Cash doing? I think Stellar Cash putting in a little bit of a top. Some major bearish divergence going all the way through here. Still being beheld in below the 200 exponential, but more importantly, this one's a little bit difficult to judge because I do believe that we are putting a little bit of a bottoming formation as well on this guy. And more importantly, this trend line being born all the way from 2017 still seems to be respected. Or is it respected? This is the problem with diagonals because, a little small degree in price action can amount for, okay, did we break it or not? I'd say that this is the right way to do it, and we actually did break it, but to break back down below it the next day on extremely low volume is not a good signal. And more importantly, I want to see it match up with the horizontal, which we have not broken past that one, and we've not really broken past that one either. So I would say that this one is not broken, and this one was an overthrow, and the people using diagonals are going to get faked out. Doesn't mean that it still can't break up to the upside, but looking at the weekly, ooh, hold on. I kind of like what I see on the weekly. We have gotten that retest of the 21. Am I going to be wrong in this? Is it just time to be bullish right now? Yeah, I think so. I do think so. It's an easy trade to manage either which way. If you are long on this one, 12.2 cents is where I'd be managing off of. That's what I'd be saying. Let's see. I do want to take this trade right now. There we go. Okay, cool. All right, awesome. And let me just put an alert right here. There we go. There we go. All right, in 24. Okay, great. Let me just put another alert for that. Got to be very careful. Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, that's what I'm thinking right over there. Let's go check out, what else we want to check out? We checked out traditional markets. We checked out all the shit coins, checked out the Bitcoins. Yeah, I guess we could just start to wrap it up now. So Bitcoin, right? Again, on higher time frames against all major moving averages, on lower time frames is putting in an ascending triangle, which typically does imply more bullishly resolved nature. If I had to pick direction, for whatever reason, I do feel like this one wants to retrace first. But hey, if we do take out 5,300, no, I would be looking for a long all the way up to, 56 to 57. We also do have, I forgot to mention this, but we do have, and it's not my favorite thing to do either, but the titty sequential also suggesting a high as well. We put in a 9 right over here. In fact, this is the validity of the titty sequential in case you're wondering. If you go over to the 3-day, we did put in a 9 right over here, but we were just marching it higher. If we go over to, not the monthly, but the weekly, we put in a 9 on the last week as well. So, just because it calls a 9 doesn't mean that it needs to fall over immediately, but it does say just another warning sign. So for the bears, they got all the major moving averages looming overhead. They got the MBT signal. They have the longs and the shorts ratio, more so on their side. They got the titty sequential also on their side. For the bulls, all the lower time frames are bullish right now. So those competing narratives. Again, the way to trade it right now, as far as I'm concerned, is the same either which way, whether you're bullish or bearish. Very, 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 very simple. We break above 5,300. I'm looking for a move towards 56, 57. If we break below 5,200, I'm looking for a move, ultimately down to 50-50 and bounce probably there, and then probably get the full retrace down to 48, 4,900-ish area. So that's going to do it for today. Been an absolute pleasure to speak with you. I'll be back on tomorrow with I'll be back on tonight with some more live stream action, but also tonight I'm actually going to be on Hyperwave channel as well, so really looking forward to that, meeting Tyler and Leia, and yeah, if you want to tune in, it'll be right after my live stream. So if I don't see you until then, well, I want to wish you a happy, healthy day, and if not, well, I want to wish you a happy and healthy day anyways. I'll be signing off now, and take care.